Bonjour, my name's Jody Roebuck and I farm in New Zealand. This week we're looking at some of the farms in Quebec that I visited during an epic week-long tour attending the CANOPY leadership program with the GOAT Jean-Martin Fortier and his amazing team. And also mainly we're looking this week at the farms that I visited. I arrived early before the program and revisited a lot of farms that I've worked on several times in 2016 and 2018. I really like to shout out to all of the farmers I met at the CANOPY program and also to all of the farmers that hosted me and openly welcomed me into their farm, their production, their homes. And really thank you so much. And we would love to return the favor down under anytime. So I first arrived and reconnected with Jean-Martin and Maude-Hélène at La Grelinette, one of their most iconic farms around. And it was really nice to see this visit a little later in the season. Things are starting to slow down, still big harvests, and anticipating the cold winter coming around the corner. We had a lot of farm tours, and with the CANOPY program, there was 25 of us. Pretty much all of the farmers, it was their first time visiting La Grelinette, and they were just blown away. It's kind of the OG market garden. It was really big for people to reconnect back to what has been one of the inspirations for them to be farming themselves. Here's Maude-Hélène and JM in their heated greenhouse. Late season tomatoes. They've already tipped the tops out of them just to flush the last fruits, and they're flipping most of their indoor production. They're cropping out. They just pulled the cucumbers out and straight back into crops for harvest before deep winter. Really nice to visit La Grelinette again. Not a lot's changed except for Maude-Hélène's been running the farm for a long time now. She commented to me, she said after 20 years she feels like she's got there, and the seasons are a bit simpler, although they've changed some of their sales streams, adapted with that, and still really increasing the turnover on the same land area, which is really inspirational. The farm that the CANOPY leadership program was based at is the Espace Old Mill, which is where Jean-Martin has set up a restaurant and a market garden, so full farm to plate. And he also has the offices here for all of his other businesses. And it was amazing to see his positive team and having all of his different businesses together, like Heirloom, the planning tool, Growers, the tool and apparel company, the Market Garden Institute, all working under one hub, just up the road from La Grelinette. I rode to Espace on the back of the motorbike with JM. It's really nice to see everything tight and close and just really efficient. The restaurant is at the back on the right, and then the building to the left is the wash and pack, and which is directly connected to the greenhouse. They have some cat tunnels as well. And again, this is early autumn. The whole field was in root vegetables. It was stunning. A lot of coloured daikon, beetroot, carrots, and you could see that they were planting all of the storage crops for the farm to plate restaurant. It was a beautiful farm. First time I visited here. Here's the restaurant, and I think I'm really interested to see the impact of this model further afield over the years with other restaurants seeing the potential here. The entranceway into wash and pack, which is really close to the restaurant kitchen. Here's the wash and pack. Obviously not doing big volumes of salad because they're just supplying the restaurant, but really interesting to see all the storage crops. Quite a large walk-in chiller, 2 chillers, really set up for storage crops to produce, year round, extend the season more, and keep that supply going into the restaurant. This is the greenhouse connected straight to wash and pack. And you can see the cloche design that JM's designed. Small beds, really big access for like clientele to come through to showcase the farm to plate. Really impressive. Summer crops are starting to come out. Winter crops are going in. And here's a photo, coloured daikon in the field. The root vegetables were spectacular. John Jevons would love it. And right next to the farm is the river. Here's JM fishing one evening after the events. The next farm we're going to look at is called FQT. Hard to pronounce this one, and my French is very limited. Third visit to this farm, 2016, 2018, and then 6 years until my revisit. After the CANOPY program, I went to FQT and worked on their Friday harvest, and I'd like to shout out to the farm crew who also hosted me that night. We mainly worked in the field, and then a little bit of harvest later in the day. This is the wash and pack. Apart from the fixed tubs with the spray stations, everything's modular, everything's on wheels. It's just the bubbler and the 2 tubs for filling with water that were fixed. Everything else is pretty modular. So it's nice to see FQT again after so many years. Jean-Martin doesn't work here anymore. Greenhouses were looking really tight. It's late in the season. The tomato management was really tight. They're running 2 litres off each plant and forfeiting every second bed, which becomes the main access. And the crops, all the tomatoes were still in, the production was going really well, but they're also switching out, getting crops in, like this next slide, ready for a deep winter production. So it's the big transition going on at the moment. Summer crops out, winter crops in, while they've still got the chance. So that was the Friday harvest. Saturday morning, we packed up super early off to the Jean-Talon Market. And here comes this beautiful setup. Last time I visited, it was just vegetables. This time they've also got the charcuterie, and you'll see in this video, beautiful display of beautiful food. Here's another vendor at the Jean-Talon Market. Beautiful display of vegetables. And from here, we're moving on to another farm that we visited in the CANOPY Leadership Program. Now, the growers here this was a beautiful story for me to connect that the growers here trained at La Grelinette a long time ago, many years ago, and that upskilling, they then developed this farm from scratch, and the farm was beautiful. The layout, everything was central. This is the wash and pack building in the middle of the farm, and all of the business owners had really defined roles and different skill sets. And yeah, the farm was stunning. We were also there when it was pick up for their CSA, and yeah, everything was really simplified. And again, everyone was well aware of their strengths and their roles within the business. Here's the layout of the vegetables. Here's customers picking up, and here's a video of everything on display. Here's the CANOPY group on the farm tour. Really beautiful greenhouse production. Lots of investment here. Really cold climate in winter. So thanks again for hosting us, and congratulations on the beautiful work you're doing. And next farm we're looking at is actually the first farm that I visited on the Sunday. And I'd like to thank Danny for hosting me and showing me around and bringing me to this farm, which translates as the farm of the slack rope or the tightrope walking. And Danny is a champion of the slack lining, and they had a slack line set up over a pond, which is pretty cool. This is one at their on-farm shop, and check out the peppers. Beautiful greenhouse production. And the Market Gardener Institute is going to be releasing a video of their winter growing here too. Danny said that their winter production is stunning. I've never seen peppers like that before. And here's their tomatoes. And here's an aerial shot of the farm. Again, really nice layout. House at the back, main access, beautiful greenhouse production. And so again, I'd like to thank everyone that hosted me while I was in Quebec. Also, so much fun meeting all of the growers from 25 growers from possibly 20 different countries. I was the only grower from the Southern Hemisphere. Really neat connections to make, and look forward to working together in the future. And I'd just like to shout out to the team at the Market Garden Institute for an epic week. Totally nailed it. Really, really big week for everyone. We've got a lot to think about and skills to add into our toolbox. So for more content, check out roebuckfarm.com. We have podcasts on there as well. I hope you're well. See you later.